Every program you use makes decisions: which button to enable, which notification to show, which email to mark as spam. Programs handle this through branching, executing different blocks of code depending on whether conditions are true or false. Python gives us three keywords for branching: if, elif, and else. By default, Python runs code from top to bottom, one line after another. That's linear execution. Branching breaks this pattern. It lets the program evaluate a condition and choose which code to run next. Think of a fork in the road. Python checks a condition. If it's true, the program takes one path. If it's false, it takes the other. The keywords if, elif, and else create these decision points. The simplest branch is a standalone if statement. Write the keyword if, followed by a condition, then a colon. Any code indented beneath that colon belongs to the if block. When Python reaches the if, it evaluates the condition. If true, Python runs the indented block. If false, Python skips the entire block and moves to the next unindented line. Here's an example. We set age to 20. The if statement checks whether age is greater than or equal to 18. 20 passes that test, the condition is true. Python executes the indented line and prints the message, "You can vote." If age were 15 instead, the condition would be false, and the Python would skip the print statement entirely. Often you want two paths, one for true, one for false. The else keyword provides that second path. An else clause has its own indented block, which runs only when the if condition is false. Exactly one of the two blocks always executes, never both, never neither. In this example, age is 15. Python checks whether age is greater than or equal to 18. 15 fails that test, so the condition is false. Python skips the if block and runs the else block instead, printing "You cannot vote yet." When you need more than two paths, use elif, short for else if. An elif adds another condition to the chain. You can stack as many elifs as you want, and an optional else at the end catches everything that matched nothing above. Here's a grading example. Score is set to 85. Python first checks whether score is greater than or equal to 90. 85 fails that test. Python moves to the first elif and checks whether score is greater than or equal to 80. 85 passes, Python runs that block, printing B. Here's the critical part. Python stops checking. It does not evaluate the remaining elif or the else. Even though 85 is also greater than or equal to 70, Python never reaches that condition. In an elif chain, only the first true condition executes. This prevents multiple grades from printing when ranges overlap. Here's a common mistake. Students assume two consecutive if statements behave the same as an if-elif chain. They do not. Two independent if statements are completely separate checks. Both blocks can run if both conditions are true. Watch this. X is set to 15. The first if checks whether x is greater than 10. True. Python prints greater than 10. Then Python reaches the second if. This is a brand new independent check. X is greater than 5, also true. Python prints greater than 5. Both messages appear. Now replace that second if with elif. X is still 15. Python checks whether x is greater than 10. True. It prints greater than 10 and skips the elif entirely. The elif never runs, even though 15 is greater than 5. The rule: an if starts a new independent branch. An elif continues an existing chain, and the chain stops at the first match. Indentation in Python is not cosmetic, it's mandatory syntax. Indentation tells Python which lines belong to which branch. Every line indented under an if, elif, or else runs as part of that branch's code block. When the indentation returns to the previous level, that code sits outside the branch and runs regardless of the condition. Forgetting to indent raises an indentation error. Indenting a line under the wrong branch causes it to execute at the wrong time. Use 4 spaces per level consistently. The indentation defines the structure of your program. 3 takeaways. Branching lets a program choose which code to run based on conditions. If for a single check, if else for 2 paths, if elif else for many. Second, elif chains execute only the first true condition, while independent if statements can all fire. Third, indentation defines which code belongs to each branch. In Python, indentation is syntax, not style. To practice what you just learned, this course has free exercises and AI-graded feedback on ludium.ai. The link is in the description.